morning, everyone. So glad to see you here today, this morning. It's a great vibe in here today. Isn't it a great vibe, Joey? I know. It's because you guys are here. We're all here together. My name is Jody Meadows. I'm the associate pastor here, and I have a few announcements for us as we get started this morning. We are still keeping each other safe by keeping on our masks and social distancing, and we have been able to relax some other things because our cases have been down, for which we're very grateful. And so let's just keep each other safe as we keep going forward. We are doing a survey, and this is the last week. So if you have words of encouragement and of ideas to share with us, we definitely want to hear those as we're working on rebuilding our community together. And so take that survey, and every survey that we have, we donate $5 to the Gathering Friends, which serve people who are struggling with homelessness, and we have now collected $980 for the Gathering Friends, and we're hoping for a few more surveys this week, so take that opportunity. You can do that at thevenues.org/survey, and all the things that I tell you about this morning, you can use the QR code in front of you to find those, or just go directly to the website. Next week is our next level class, and that is a Sunday after church hour where you can learn more about what's going on at the venues, where you can connect with your values here, meet the staff, have conversation with other folks. We'd love to have you there. There is childcare available. You will need to RSVP for that, so you can do that as well. It's almost Christmas. How many people already have the Christmas tree up, people? Let's see it. Yes, Paige, get it. Okay, Riley's got her tree up too. Very good. So we are launching into Lights of Love, which every year we do, where we get to share with lots of people in our community. And you have that opportunity. It's so easy to go on and adopt a family or a senior citizen or a child in foster care. So many different ways to give during the holiday season. And if you don't want to shop, you can just give money. That's fine too. And people can put it to good use. So you can do that. And honestly, we had 10 families with Crosslines that we took as our responsibility. And this week, already 7 of them have been adopted. And so yes, absolutely. So good. On Thursday nights, we have Bar Church at 425 West Walnut, and we started a series this last week. Chris Roberts gave a beautiful message and John was there playing, about his own origin story at the venues. So we're building community by telling our stories. How did we get here? What brought us here? What's kept us here? What are we excited about in the future? And this week, Jay Andrus is going to be in a conversation with me, and I am so excited about it. It's going to be a great time. Also, this is maybe the best, well, there's a lot of good news, but this is pretty good news that you'll hear this morning. If you come and bring a friend that hasn't been there, you and your friend get a free drink. What a deal. How could it get better than that? So come on down. We have a great time. If this is your first time here with us this morning, we want to greet you. We have a gift if you would like, a Venues mug to remember us by. And you can let us know who you are if you'd like some contact from us using the QR code in front of you as well, and our online welcome card. You can see everything that's going on our website, on all social media, and we would love to connect with you in any way with which you'd like to be connected. And at the back, you can give, and also online. If you like what's going on here, you can financially support all the outreach into the community. We're so glad you're here. Let's stand together, and let's sing together this morning.
Just as I am, you welcome me. With open arms, how can this be? My guilt is undone, my past is untethered. I'll leave it behind and run to my Father. There is no disappointment in your eyes. There is no shame, there is only pride. I am Father, I'm loved by you. So unreserve your heart for me. My fear is gone, I am set free. There's nothing to hide, there's nothing to measure. 'Cause I am your child, and that's all that matters.
There is no disappointment in your eyes. There is no shame, there is only pride. I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. There is no distance in your embrace. Over and over again you say, I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you.
Oh, I
am
loved, Father, I'm loved by you. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. I believe it, I receive it. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. You are changing everything. I believe it, I receive it. You are changing everything. There is no disappointment in your eyes. There is no shame, there is only pride. I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. There is no distance in your embrace. Over and over again you say, I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. Oh, I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. Oh, I am loved, Father, I'm loved by you. You'll find me with the broken and the weak, and the spaces in between. You'll hear my voice cry out with those who need, only if you're listening. Whatever you do for the least of these, you do it unto me. You'll find me with the ones without hope, the forgotten and ignored. My blessing is those who love will you open up the door? Whatever you do for the least of these, you do it unto me. Whatever you do for the least of these, you do it unto me. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He is among us. He is among us. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He is among us. He is among us. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He is among us. He is among us.
every single dream. I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I've tried to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest. Mighty warrior, king of the fight. No matter what I face, you're by my side. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you.
Yeah, so we're thinking about Paige. That's happened with Paige. So Paige, we're thinking about you in the song that she picked to sing a moment ago. This song that a lot of us feel that even when we don't see God, we want to see God. Even when we don't feel God in things, we want to feel God in things. So in our prayer time today, let's by faith know that God is present, that God is here, and to ask God to help us be aware of that. We're starting a series, really a short series, and I hope it'll take us a year ago, our attitude of gratitude. And as we're going to talk about it in the teaching, sometimes gratitude is more than a I'm thankful. I can hear myself. Gratitude is an emotion. I feel it. But it's also an orientation. Because sometimes I don't feel grateful. But I can choose to be grateful and to find something in everything for which to genuinely be grateful. So with that in mind, let's pray. Father, you know exactly, Mother, you know exactly what people have been going through this week, experiences similar to those of Paige, in loss, in disappointment, in despair, and it gets really dark. You don't see very well. You don't see you. You don't see things in the things that hurt us, that we can genuinely find reason to be thankful. So, my prayer today is that you'll show yourself in a very clear way. I know that you're there, I just don't always see you. So maybe like Paul in the book of Acts, take the scales from my eyes so that I can see what is already there. Your love, your grace, your mercy, your goodness. Help us to feel your arms of love and acceptance. Help us to know that the pain and the disappointment is not the final feeling. It's not the final word. There is tomorrow. There is even right now. And in the now, in the present, I sense you. I sense love. And I sense a kindness. In the name of Christ all over the world, I pray. Amen.
Thank you for finding you for finding me. Thank you for hearing 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 me. Thank you for loving 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 me. For seeing me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me.
Thank you all for doing that. That is a mesmerizing tune, the powerful, powerful words. Well, if you grew up in the 90s, you grew up with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is the of Dumb and Dumber. He started out as Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and then he was the Riddler, and then the lying lawyer and the Grinch, and then he went from playing dumb to playing God in Bruce Almighty. In the movie Bruce Almighty, this character, Bruce, was just really hurt, disappointed about how things were going. And so he meets God. And God thinks, well, maybe you can handle it better. And so God gives Bruce the God powers. And Bruce takes those powers and he gets a little revenge on a guy at work. He's a reporter. And one of the things that didn't go well for him is that other reporter got promoted to anchor over Jim Carrey's character. And this particular scene is one in which Bruce gets a little revenge since he's got God powers on this guy that got the promotion. And the guy's name is Evan in the movie, Steve Carell. I never know if it's Carell or Carell, but the office guy. And this scene has been picked by a website called Nerdist as the third funniest movie scene in the history of movies. Spencer, our tech person, had to edit some things out. I'd love to have seen the bloopers on this thing that they didn't actually show, but take a look. It's just kind of a good comic moment.
Our number 3 pick, I don't think we've ever laughed harder at a cut than in Bruce Almighty's broadcast sabotage.
A potential scandal with the Buffalo PD surfaced today when the mayor...
When the man demanded that the chip, when the man demanded that the chip boy, as a response to allegations of, so I'd say perhaps something suckable.
I guess we're done. I think that was the cleanest part. I think everything else we couldn't show, even the privacy of your home probably. When interviewed about this movie, Jim Carrey said it's all about not seeing your blessings, a problem that is a common thing for a lot of people. Seeing your blessings. Are we people who see the blessings? Are we people who see? That's the question we're asking in this series today and next week on gratitude. Henry David Thoreau, that philosopher and naturalist, says it's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. So what do you see here? There's so many things to see. A man on a horse, an older man, somebody sleeping down here. What do you see? This is a weird one. I'm going to have to look at this again. So if you look at it, my first thing I see is just a face with the eyes and nose. But if you stand on your head, you'll see a dog. There's the ears and the eyes and the nose. Very clever. What do you see? This kind of freaked me out. It's only human not to see everything. There's just too many things to see. And our minds just maybe can't process all of that, and so it discards things that it thinks are unimportant. If you looked for everything in a room that was red, and then you were asked to describe everything in that room that was blue, what would you do? Your mind would explode. Well, I wasn't looking for the blue, I was looking for the red. We kind of see what we're looking for. So the question, what do you see? What do I look for? As we think about gratitude today, I'm trying to understand this, that gratitude is about seeing. Now, on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. Boy, I could live right there. Between Samaria and Galilee. Between one place and another place, what happens? Sometimes they say it's not about your destination, it's about the journey to get there. Between two places, something happened. You may be between two places. Not geographical places, but two emotional places, two experiential places. Something tragic has happened, like the death of a beloved family member. And you're not yet to the next place. You're in this in-between place. But something good could happen in the in-between. Father Rohr calls that the liminal space. Oh, I like it. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy, which is a general term in those days that described several types of skin issues, they stood at a distance. You remember why they stood at a distance? Because of the law that said that the lepers were considered to be unclean. And they called out in a loud voice, Jesus, Master, which was really just a term of respect. Doesn't really have any spiritual meaning. Just like Mister. Have pity on us, or mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said, Go, show yourselves to the priest. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them be the one. Just take that away. Be the one. be the one of them. When he saw he was healed, came back, oh my gosh, praising God in a loud voice. And he threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. And Jesus asked, were not all 10 cleansed? That word is catharsizo. We get our word catharsis from it. A cleansing of the spirit, the cleansing of the body, cathartic. Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner? That's interesting, isn't it? Then he said to him, rise and go. Your faith has made you well. So all 10 were healed. But one was different. One of them, when he saw, there's the key. He saw something. A Benedictine monk who was a child, just a boy, not a child, but a grade school, junior high boy in Austria when Nazi Germany occupied that land. So he saw a lot of horrible things. His name is Brother David Steindl-Rast, and he said, 99% of the time we have an opportunity to be grateful for something, we just don't notice it. And I love this. We go through our days in a daze. Isn't that just describes me. I'll go from just to the house to the church building here, and I don't remember what I saw. I go through life in a daze. Denise and I painted our bedroom the other day, or I should say we had it painted. I discovered that it cost me more to paint a room myself than it does to have it painted. And I have more paint on me than I do the wall. So, the night before it was scheduled to be painted by Denise's painter that she uses in her work, she and I moved all the furniture away from the wall to the center of the room. And during the night, I just made my nightly walk to the restroom. It's just a common occurrence, and I'm accustomed to that. But something was different in the room that night. And yes, I hit the dresser. And I hit it hard. And of course, Denise jumped out of bed like somebody was breaking in. And then she thought, oh no, it's just Philip. He's always bumping into things. So what was going on? A couple of things were happening, I think. I moved that dresser there. Denise and I moved that dresser there. So there was something in my mind that knew it was there. But I wasn't used to it being there. I hadn't trained my brain to think that the dresser was right there. And then it was dark, so I could not see that the dresser was there. So to me, that has 2 lessons on my gratitude. Number one, I kind of get used to seeing things. I get used to thinking things a certain way. I get used to things the way they are. I wonder, therefore, if I get used to seeing things or not seeing things, I wonder if I could train my brain to get used to seeing good things in bad experiences. If I wasn't used to seeing the dresser there, I wonder if I could get used to seeing things that I presently am not seeing. And secondly, I think gratitude to me is kind of like that flashlight. A flashlight doesn't put the dresser in the middle of the room. The flashlight reveals that the dresser is in the middle of the room. Gratitude doesn't make good things happen necessarily. Maybe it does. Maybe a power there that I don't even know about. But what I'm understanding at this level of my life, and it's a very grade school level, is that gratitude is like, to me, a flashlight. It doesn't put things there. It reveals what's already there. And if I have gratitude, if I have a flashlight, it will illuminate something in a bad thing. something good in the bad, something for which I can genuinely be grateful in that bad. To me, it's like a flashlight. So gratitude is helping me see what I did not used to see. Gratitude is helping me see what's there if I just had the eyes to see it. Jim Carrey says, I would challenge anybody in their darkest moment to write what they're grateful for, even stupid little things like the green grass that made them feel good. The friendly conversation they had with somebody on an elevator. You start to realize how rich you are. I like that. It forces me to begin to look for those little things. Henry Nouwen, the Catholic priest, such a wise soul, kind soul. When we are grateful, we are like poets. This is true about artists. Whether you're a poet, a songwriter, or artistic person, we can see the things that others can't see. I've never seen myself as a poet, but I would love to be an artist who would be able to see things that the public can't see. And then the poet, English poet, British poet, William Blake, describes it like this: oh, to see a world in a grain of sand, and the heaven in a wildflower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Why can't I just look at this pumpkin and see more than a cute orange pumpkin? The globe, the smoothness. I want to see beyond what I see. I want to see with spiritual eyes. I want to be the one of the 10 who saw in a way that led to gratitude. We all see. But some of us see in a way that leads us to a deep gratitude. Let's go back when one of them discovered is how the contemporary English version translates that Greek word. I like that because it tells me that to be grateful requires me to be in a discovery mode. The power of gratitude, I'm learning, is the power to see the good in everything. More specifically, I think a grateful person has the power to be free from things that keep him from seeing, or keep her from seeing, or keep them from seeing. Gratitude frees me from being bitter, because bitterness clouds my eyes. Gratitude frees me from having such a critical spirit and a critical vision. Gratitude does not free me from hurt, though. It can free me from being bitter about the hurt or angry about the hurt in a prolonged manner. Anger can be so positive at times, but I don't want to live there. And gratitude helps me not live there. Elie Wiesel, a survivor of the Holocaust and 2 concentration camps, Auschwitz and Buchenwald, was interviewed by Oprah. Oprah asked, despite all the tragedy you witnessed, do you still have a place inside you for gratefulness? Absolutely. Right after the war, I went around telling people, thank you just for living, for being human. And to this day, the words that come most frequently from my lips are, thank you. Oh my gosh, I don't know if that any of us in here had seen the injustices and the pain witnessed by this man. And so his determination to be grateful means even more to me. She asked again, does having seen the worst of humanity make you more grateful for ordinary occurrences? For me, he answers, every hour is grace. And I feel gratitude in my heart each time I can meet someone and look at his or her smile. So gratitude, I don't believe, is a panacea for every pain and every injustice. I'm going to say this, I don't know if it's right or not, and it may not be. I don't think gratitude fixes anything. And that may not be right, but that's where I am right now. Because pain and injustice, those are real things. And just because I'm grateful doesn't mean those things go away. But what it's doing for me is gratitude. It debunks or it contradicts or removes the view that I have of that situation, that bad situation is the final statement on human existence. Gratitude helps me see that despair doesn't have the last word. It doesn't change the situation for me. It just helps me change my perspective of the situation, that however painful and awful and just unjust that situation is, that's not the final experience. Gratitude is the affirmation that, as Martin Luther King Jr. says, there is an arc toward justice, that we're going to get there. I received a very nice note. I think it was a nice note because it was accompanied by a Starbucks gift card. But the condition of it was not whole. And there was on the outside of the envelope in my mailbox this message from the post office: damaged in handling. Now, I assume I couldn't even read the note. There was not the part of the card that was had the writing on it was somewhere else. I don't know where it went. But nobody normally gives me a gift if they don't have something nice to say. So I'm assuming the note was very nice. Now, when I opened that torn card and envelope and saw the torn contents, I had a choice. I could have been mad at the United States Postal Service. But God bless them, they've got so much going on. Or I could be thankful that somebody took the time and had enough care to send me a card and, by faith, a nice note with that. And it really wasn't, for me at that point, a hard choice. I get when mistakes happen. I make them all the time. Frank Marzola, I put this on Facebook, and Frank Marzola replied, gosh, that's my word, not his. I still have Andy Griffith Show in me. Golly, how many lives have I torn? How many lives have I damaged in my comments and my teachings of the past? Yeah. Frank didn't accuse me of that, but he was just saying, how many times have we damaged others? So I chose to be thankful, and it really wasn't that hard. I was so grateful for that person and for the nice thing that that person did for me. So I'm learning that gratitude is an emotion. I feel grateful, but gratitude is more, I think, an ethic. It's a way to live your life. It's an orientation. Gratitude to me is a choice to see every situation in a certain way. Not that that situation itself is good or beneficial or positive, but that I can orient myself into seeing that situation with different eyes to find something good in it, number one, and secondly, to see that that situation isn't the final word. Gratitude is a lot like love. Love is an emotion. I love to be in love. I love the feeling of being in love. And as hard as it might be for you to believe, Denise is not always in love with me. How could you not always love me? But the thing about Denise, when she married me, she did not base her promise to me on her feeling. I had a professor at Southwestern Seminary who told us this: do not build your relationship on falling in love, because anything you fall into, you can crawl out of. All right, what's love then if it's not a feeling? Love is a choice to act in loving ways even when you don't feel very loving. And that's been the very foundation of our marriage, because there have been times that we've not been in love. There have been times that I've not been very lovely, and I've been hard to have good feelings toward. But Denise has chosen to act in love even when she didn't feel in love. I think that's what gratitude is. I don't always feel grateful. But if gratitude is more than an emotion, if it's an ethic, it's how I determine to live my life. I determine to be oriented. And it's like this: I know that in my spirit, I'm good. In my spirit, I've got God's spirit in me, and I have that divine image in me. And God is good, God is love, and that is in me. And so within me, there's a spirit of gratitude. And for me to choose gratitude and to choose that perspective is for me to choose to act in accordance to who I am on the inside. I am oriented toward that. And I can choose even when I don't feel it. So this one leper was different. He saw. He was different in another way too. He fell face down at Jesus' feet, thanking him. And Luke says, he was a Samaritan. Wow, that would shock Luke's readers. We all know the story of the Samaritans. They were the picture of an outsider in that culture. They were outsiders. They were the other, religiously and socially and nationally. And he was a Samaritan. Again and again, if we have eyes to see, we will see Jesus making the hero of the story and the hero of the events the outsiders. He's always about including the excluded. What I learned from that is this: don't be surprised when the one who has the deepest faith, the deepest grace, the greatest gratitude is somebody other than one in your religion, outside of your faith. You see, you don't have to be a member of a particular religion or philosophy to have a grateful spirit. Gratitude transcends any church borders, religious borders, denomination borders. All you have to do to be a grateful person is to keep your eyes open, to keep your heart open to all the good that is always around us, if we would have the eyes to see. And then Jesus says to this guy at the very end, "Go, your faith has made you well." Well, he was already made well before. So what does it mean to be made well now? Before, the word was katharzo. This word is sozo, and that is often translated saved. And the word sozo, as I understand it, and it's a very full word, but in essence it means to be made whole, W-H-O-L-E. Emotionally, spiritually whole, not just physically well, but emotionally, spiritually well, whole. It's interesting that the other guys, the 9 guys, were made physically well, but this guy took his wholeness and took his wellness to another level. And the pathway to that deeper level of wellness was gratitude. Gratitude took him to a deeper level. I want to be at that level. I want to have that wholeness. And so I want to close with this thought from Paul. Pray diligently, intensely, commune intensely, be constantly aware, stay alert, be woke. I'm so sad that phrase has been criticized. The opposite of being woke is being asleep, not being aware of anything. Paul says, again and again, stay alert. Then he says, with your eyes wide open in gratitude. That'll change my perspective of everything. That's my hope. Hey, let's pray, and we've got about, 3 or 4 minutes. If you've got any questions about anything, let's take some time for that. If you do not want to stay for Q&A, sometimes stumping the pastor is the most fun part of this hour. And it doesn't take long to stump me. So let's get set up. You think about your questions. Is there a number that people text? Do we still do that? Let me move the pumpkin. Well, God, thanks for the opportunity today to think about being thankful and just help us parse this out and to practice it. Amen. Hi, niece.
Hi.
I am so thirsty.
You are.
I feel like Kramer after eating those pretzels. Do we have anyone asking any questions? Like, where did you get your vest?
No. Yes, I don't feel I pray often enough. What is your regime or regimen?
That's a good question. On prayer?
Do you have a recommendation for frequency?
Well, Paul does say pray diligently, and he also says to the Thessalonians, pray without ceasing. So if you're not praying 24/7, you're just a sinner. Isn't that, it's confusing, isn't it? And I was raised in a tradition, and it's a great tradition in this, in kind of a sense, that prayer was a very segmented period of time that you devoted to where you went through steps. Everything in my world had steps. So we had 4 steps to prayer. I'm learning now that that's an important thing. And I do have on a daily basis, I have a time that I set aside, and you could call it prayer. I call it meditation more, contemplation, where I just open my mind to a thought about God, a thought about life, wisdom, kindness, goodness, and I just contemplate on that. And I'll include during that time some conversation, talking to God, but I want to be more listening in that time than I am talking. But when Paul says pray without ceasing, I think practically speaking, that just means I'm just walking everywhere I go. I'm just walking in awareness. Prayer is awareness. I'm walking in awareness of the presence of God in me, the presence of God around me, the presence of God, aware of the beauty around me. And I being prayerful all the time is just an awareness of the presence of love everywhere, if I just get used to looking for that. So sometimes the best time for me to pray is this meditation time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Sometimes I take, sometimes 30 minutes is in the morning. Sometimes I don't do that in the morning. I just do it during the day sometime. Our schedules allow us both, Denise and me, to do that privately. So I hope that helps. Whoever asked that, it's a good question.
Somebody sent Google eyes, so I guess they're saying I see you.
Oh, how funny. Is that kind of creepy?
They didn't send a smiley emoji,
Okay.
but sure, we're being positive, aren't we? You mentioned that gratitude doesn't fix pain and hurt, but it helps you see the good.
Yeah, I may be
So
wrong
how
on
do-
that, though.
How do we process the pain and hurt?
Oh,
But I know what you're going to say.
what am I going to say?
Sometimes counseling can help with
Always counseling helps. Yeah, you're right.
because it's
A
hard
good, a
to.
good therapist can walk us through that process, and I do encourage that. Father Rohr says something to the effect of, if we don't transform our pain will transform us, something like that. I didn't get that right at all. But somehow our pain and our suffering, as bad as it is, I do believe what Paul says in Romans 8:28, God causes all things to work together for good. So God can transform that pain into something good. Beautiful is that word, good. Wow. From ugly experience to something beautiful. I love that. The process of that, for me, has been to have those eyes. I feel the pain. I acknowledge the pain. I embrace that pain. I embrace the hurt. I embrace the anger that come out of that hurt. And I fully feel it. And I fully express it. Sometimes to Denise. All the time to God. And I use a few choice words. I fully feel it. And then I just am quiet. And I listen. I had to train myself to do this. And in the quietness and in the listening, that's when I began to feel the arms of God, metaphorically speaking, just kind of say, it's going to be okay. I will transform this into good. I will do something good out of this. Yeah, I used not to do that. So I encourage you to practice. And gosh, yeah, Kathy, you got some help me on that?
I just wanted to say that the welcoming prayer
Yes.
is a really powerful tool to be able
Well,
to...
tell us what that welcoming prayer is. And Joey, come on out. We'll leave after this.
You can Google it, and I think it's in one of Richard Rohr's books, but it just talks about how, there's a prayer that you state at the beginning, I welcome everything that comes to me in this place. I release my need for security. I release my need for control. I release my need to change anyone, including myself, and I welcome everything that comes to me knowing that it's for my healing. And then you sit in that with awareness of what you're feeling, like you said, in compassion, and it moves you then into that place of that embrace of God. So it's just kind of a scripted way that helps.
Oh, Kathy,
to do
thank
that.
you. That helps. That was so much better than mine. We were saying the same thing. You just said it so much more succinctly. So go Google welcoming prayer. And thank you. Thank you, niece.
Thank you, Philip.
I'll see you later.
I'll see you later.
I'm going
Thank
to go
you,
ahead.
Joey. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm
maybe.
gonna interrupt this.
Okay. That turning on thing kind of stuck with me, didn't it?
All right. So we're gonna thank you all for joining us this morning. We're gonna say goodbye to our online audience. Thank you all for joining us as well. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week. For the rest of us, the first thing that we're gonna